Due to open on May 1st of 1986, the theme park of Pripyat was never able to welcome any visitors after the nuclear meltdown of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant just 4 days before its grand opening. The city of Pripyat has temporarily evacuated to protect its citizens, but none ever returned after this temporary moment, leaving the city to mostly rot. There are still flyers littering the creepy and abandoned city of Pripyat which advertise the theme park's opening day. And now, basically no one lives there, apart from animals. Apparently animals are living there quite happily, which is nice. Encore's garden is almost completely lost to nature after closing in 1999 following an earthquake which killed more than 2,000 people. The park, which was nestled in the hills above Taichung City in Taiwan, was originally one of the most popular tourist attractions in the country, bringing more than 1 million visitors into the country. But it's now almost impossible to find, with some intrepid souls using Google Maps to find its remains before they even travel there. Built in the shadow of Mount Fuji near a very famous suicide spot, Gulliver's Kingdom was a theme park based on the novel Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift. It closed in 2007 after the financial crisis claimed a number of Japanese businesses, but its remains can still be visited today, including the terrifying giant statue of Gulliver, designed to give people the perspective of what it might be like to be a tiny person living on Gulliver's Island. Although really, it doesn't do that, does it? It's just scary. Despite being themed around the adventures of King Arthur and built on a site where, according to legend, Sir Lancelot's parents fled to, Camelot Theme Park found it impossible to compete with the massive success of England's 2 major theme parks, Alton Towers and Thorpe Park, and closed in 2012. To be fair, I went there, and it wasn't very good. I don't know about you, but I think The Wizard of Oz is kind of scary enough. You've got a man dressed as a lion, a man dressed as a robot, and a man hiding behind a curtain pretending to be big. It's weird. It's no surprise that many were put off by an entire theme park based on it. The Land of Oz in North Carolina, USA, opened in 1970 and contained a number of priceless film artifacts. However, after a fire in 1975, supposedly started by disgruntled park employees, nothing was ever quite the same for the merry old Land of Oz, after the dress worn by Judy Garland in the film was destroyed. Even though it had been closed for 35 years, the rotting remains of the yellow brick road remain, and the other parts of the park remain to this day. Lake Dolores was originally built by Bob Byers exclusively for the use of his extended family in the 1950s, and he named it after his wife. Lake Dolores Water Park was eventually opened to the public and became a small success, adding rides over the course of 25 years. However, business slowed down in the 80s and the park fell into disrepair following several aborted attempts to reopen it. It still remains today, but as something of a ghost town. Jazzland in New Orleans, USA, is linked to a much more tragic story, unfortunately. After several years of decline, the park was bought by American theme park giant Six Flags in 2002, who managed to turn its fortunes around and had even put plans in place to convert it into a water park. However, in 2005, New Orleans was hit by Hurricane Katrina, which destroyed much of the park and left the rest flooded. The haunting remains of the park now stand graffitied and rusting, like a spectre of its former self. Dogpatch has a weird story behind it. The facsimile of a Wild West mining town closed in 2002 and was put on eBay for $1 million, attracting a grand total of no bids. 3 years later, a young man who was driving through the park was almost decapitated by a length of wire which was strung between 2 trees. After the owners of the park failed to pay him damages, he was awarded the deed to Dogpatch USA and currently plans to reopen it. Spree Park in Berlin was opened in 1969 and was East Germany's only theme park, welcoming more than 1.5 million visitors from the communist side of the country every year. After reunification and years of dwindling numbers, the park closed in 2001. After the owner attempted to ship off most of the rides to open a new park in Lima, Peru, the park never took off, and he was shocked to see the rides arrive back in Germany, and even more shocked when customs officers found more than 160 kilograms of cocaine in the mast of the pirate ship ride. Yeah, good luck explaining that one. When theme parks are abandoned or fall into disrepair, it doesn't take long for nature to reclaim them. As the roller coasters and their cars rust away, the undergrowth takes over the pathways and the silence takes over. And that's what happened at Belgium's Daddy Park, which first opened in 1950 on the orders of a local priest. Beginning as a small playground for local kids, it grew into a huge theme park until an incident in 2002 in which a boy lost an arm on one of the rides, forcing it to close.